Good evening and welcome to week 6. I first want to commend everyone in this class for engaging in very difficult and honest conversations on our discussion boards. I appreciate everyone having an open mindset when posting your responses to your peers as well. Please remember to use the resources on your Blackboard. These resources include the Writing Center, APA resources, and Grammarly. Please also note that I use the grading rubric when grading your papers. You should be able to access the rubric in your grades. So for week 6, communication is the focus of week 6. Communication is a skill. It is a skill that all of us need to work on. Simply put, communication is the passing of ideas to other people. These ideas could be as simple as a physical description of someone. It could be as difficult as relating an abstract concept to someone. Teachers find many ways to communicate ideas. That, in essence, is their job. They communicate ideas and concepts to children, parents, co-educators, and many others. It is important that each educator understand the need for clear and concise communications. And this is not easy. We as educators must converse and correspond to many different publics in order to be successful. So first, I want you to review the basic communication model presented in week 4 and detailed in week 5. See if you can find yourself in this model. What mistakes do you make in communicating with others, either by the written word or the spoken word? Here are a few of the most common mistakes made by teachers. Teachers forget that the problem is not the whole story. Every situation has a context. The whole story needs to be communicated to others if the problem is to be solved. We as educators like to use acronyms and initials, the alphabet soup of education, rather than full titles. Very few non-educators know terms like IEP, IDEA, NCLB, or LEA. Be sure to thoroughly explain terms that have become educational jargon. Teachers are in a hurry during the day. Be sure to make an appointment with a person so that there is time to converse and have a two-way communication. Don't write notes and letters in a hurry. Be sure they say what you want them to say. Whether you write a letter, give a report, make a speech, or simply have a professional conversation with a parent, you must be aware of the taxonomy of persuasion. Persuasion presented in the communication model PowerPoint will help you better understand the purpose of communication and identify the most effective way to communicate. The public, no matter who it is, has preconceived ideas, opinions, and notions. Catch them up before your persuasive argument. Make people aware of the general information behind your argument. Create interest in the problem. Don't assume that your public is as interested as you are. Allow the person to have time to weigh the merits of what you are saying. Some of us need time to think. Others think out loud. Allow them to argue with you. Not only will that person evaluate as they converse, but they will also be able to give your rationale a try. Marking is part of communications effort of every school. It is not enough to be correct. Public opinion must agree with you and adopt your actions as the actions which best meet your needs. Some people feel that such adoption can be fostered strictly through media. Board members will generally see this as a marketing effort similar to the advertising of a local business. Although many of the same techniques can be used, there are more techniques which can be used to include the public in the planning and inform them as well. Brochures, ads, and good news reports are valuable, but there are many other ways to persuade the public. Include people from the beginning. One of the most effective models to persuade various publics is to include them in the initial planning. Not only does this help with what is commonly known as developing ownership, but it also allows for two-way communication. Remember, it is not enough just to have a marketing program. It is our responsibility to meet the needs of society. We have many cultures and many perspectives within our schools. Educational psychologists, such as Vygotsky, emphasize the importance of culture in the development of language. The development of language and communication skills is generally influenced by the way of life which surrounds the individuals. Obviously, there is the barrier of language itself, but more to the point, there are present values and perceptions which are represented by the language. The values and perceptions are as important to understand as the language itself. The attempt to understand will foster effective communication. Cultures and their values are learned through the celebration of important events. Holidays, celebrations, and folk tales generally are based on cultural values. Cultural values are shared through stories and heroes who are celebrated. Celebrating diverse cultures facilitates acculturation. Understanding diverse perspectives facilitates communications in your school. So this week, first you will watch the instructor overview video, which you are currently doing. You'll also read the article, What Teachers Say and How They Should Say It. You'll have the opportunity to reflect on the Christian message, and this week the message is from Colossians 4:6. Let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. And again, that's in Colossians 4:6. You'll discuss the topics in the discussion board, and this week our discussion board focuses on effective communication. Establishing positive relationships is the foundation for effective communication exchanges. Building relationships with your stakeholders hinges on ensuring all parties feel respected, have a voice, and experience a sense of equality. In Conderman, Johnston Rodriguez, Hartman, and Kemp, 6 suggestions to promote successful teacher-family communication are presented. Please share a strategy you currently use to facilitate communication in your diverse class and identify one of the 6 strategies mentioned in the article that you need to work on, and explain why and how you plan to improve your intercultural communication in this area. Please remember your initial post is due Thursday at 11:59 p.m. and then you should respond to a minimum of 2 peers by Sunday, 11:59 p.m. And then you will also submit assignment 5, which is part 1 of your signature assignment. You'll complete an inventory for your school and surrounding community. Most of the information needed can be obtained from your district office or website. However, there are a few additional resources that you may want to consider. The internet homepage for your district. You can review the strategic planning section and ask your district about its public relations communication plan. Who communicates with the public, the media, etc. You can look at your State Department of Education homepage on the internet. Search the term California Department of Education. go to quickfacts.census.gov. You can go to www.census.gov, talk to others in your community, search web pages about the community or county, see what local businesses and organizations have in the way of data, check with the government offices for welfare, etc. You're going to present the school and community inventory in list format. It is understood that you may not be able to find all the information on all of the items listed. Neither will you be able to find out everything about the community with the questions that are posed. Then looking ahead, you have your signature assignment, School and Community Intervention Plan. The purpose of this is you will develop a research-based programmatic intervention plan to meet the needs of the diverse students and their families served by this specific community. Part 1 is what is due this week, the School and Community Inventory. And you will also do Part 2, which is due next week. And that's a needs assessment summary and analysis. And after you answer the questions on the inventory, you'll write a 2 to 3 page paper. And then you'll submit parts 1, 2, and 3, creating and communicating the intervention plan. That is due week 8, our last week together. And instead of Sunday, parts 1, 2, and 3 will be due on Friday of that week. Something I do want you to remember is that you do need to set aside daily work time for this course in your busy schedule. It is important that you plan to spend at least 6 to 10 hours each week for the duration of this 8-week course to complete the content portion, which is the work on the lesson itself, the discussion board, and the assignments. Please review the syllabus regularly so that you can better plan for upcoming assignments and manage your time. Again, I'm going to remind you to use the resources on your Blackboard, the Writing Center, APA resources, and Grammarly. And I do hope that God blesses you throughout your week.